Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Destiny 2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and salutations. Today, prepare for the future. Let's get to it. Thanks to several data miners on the PC version of Destiny 2, and you can see that as a plus or a minus. Fewer surprises because of the data mining, but you know what to expect in the future. So you gotta take the good with the bad. Anyway, these data miners have uncovered a few things that will help us prepare for the future and what is to come in the rest of the Season of Dawn. So what am I talking about? First of all, we have the exotic quest Bastion, which is coming out January 28th. And one of the quest steps for that exotic quest is to do 10, yes, count them 10 bounties for Spider. So going to Spider, you can see that there are more than 10 bounties that you can get on any given week. Since the 28th, when Bastion comes out, is the weekly reset, you'll have access to all 14 as of that day. The downside of that is that it takes a little bit of time to go through each one. So you're talking about a couple of hours that you could spend doing these bounties. And maybe you just don't have that time on the 28th, or maybe you will. Thing is that you could save yourself a little bit of time between now and then and pretty much skip a step in this exotic quest. So what you can do is you can just load up on 10 bounties. Now the problem with that is that you need ghost fragments to pick up bounty. The cheap bounties only cost 1, the most expensive one will cost you 5, and you can only hold 20. So if you are short on ghost fragments or don't have any, you're going to want to go to the Tangled Shore. Any public events will give you 1, heroic public events will give you 2, and patrols will give you 1, and I believe high value targets, once you get the crate that they drop, will give you 1 as well. So go to the Tangled Shore and get those ghost fragments, pick up those bounties, and then go ahead and complete them. Maybe you're not going to complete all of them this week because you will have 7 days from the day that you pick it up to complete it. Once you complete it, just hold that in your quest line or your bounty slot until the quest step says that you need to do 10 bounties, and once you get those, turn them all in, and then you'll be able to skip it. Alright, so that is one way to prepare for the future, and that is a big step because, like I said, you only get 20 fragments total, and maybe not everyone has 20 in their inventory. So you have to spend the time to get the fragments, then you have to spend the time to track down those bounties and complete them. So if you can space it out over the next 2 weeks, great. That'll save you some time later on. The other thing that we found out because of data mining is the Empyrean Foundation towards the end of the season, and that is February 4th. Now, the Empyrean Foundation, we don't really know a lot of the details, but we do know that you're going to need to donate to that tower obelisk, as I like to affectionately call it, the tree stump, because it seems like it's just kind of missing something there. And this is probably why, because it's not completely finished. The Empyrean Foundation will have you donating polarized fractaline to the tower obelisk. Now, the tower obelisk will need a lot of polarized fractaline. In fact, it will need 5,000 fractaline in order to complete that particular event, triumph, whatever you want to call it. So you will need to have an additional 5,000. Now, if you have all the obelisks unlocked, Nessus, EDZ, Tangled Shore, and Mars, and all of those obelisks are up to at least rank 11. And why do I say at least rank 11? Well, every time you rank up the obelisk, you get a drop. It's pretty much a random drop. You could get something that's from that obelisk, but more than likely it's some random piece of gear. So that part, just upgrading to upgrade the rank, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but upgrading the rank will give you access to perks. Now, these perks can be anything from getting additional fractaline from certain playlist activities to adding an extra loot bonus to completing the sundial. So instead of getting 1, you get 2. Instead of getting 2, you get 3. Instead of getting 3, you get 4 weapons at the end. Or having an additional pool or having an additional link of the obelisk. So instead of having only 1 link, you have 2 links, or instead of 2 links, you have 3. You won't be able to have all 4 links, unfortunately, but you'll get to choose from 3 different obelisks as opposed to only 1 or 2. Additionally, there's also, when you're doing those time lost bounties, the percentage will go up depending on how many of those perks that you have, whether it's 10% or 25%. And of course, you can have that buff from the tower obelisk, which will increase the percentage as well. So it is very important to rank up those obelisks. So if you have not ranked up the obelisks, you should do that first. Once you have each of those 4 up to 11, and it takes 200 fractaline for each rank. So what that means is that you will need 200 fractaline per rank and 44 total ranks, giving you a grand total of 8,800 fractaline to upgrade all the obelisks from the beginning to rank 11. Then you'll need an additional 5,000 on top of that, so you need a total of 13,800 fractaline in order to complete everything. Anything beyond that you can use for bounties, which cost 10 fractaline, or upgrading the rank again of any particular obelisk, which doesn't give you anything additionally other than one of those legendary engrams. So the big question now, of course, is how to get 5,000 fractaline between now and February 4th, as well as upgrading those things, obelisks. So how do you get 13,800 polarized fractaline? There's actually a couple of ways to get fractaline. Each obelisk has 2 weekly bounties for fractaline that give you 100. There are certain triumphs that will give you fractaline as well. Additionally, Saint 14 will give you bounties, daily bounties, that will give 50 fractaline apiece when you complete the weekly objective for the sundial. So you'll have to go through the sundial 2, 3, maybe 4 times to get that percentage up to 100%. And that is dependent on the number of enemies you kill. When you get that up to 100%, then you'll get 100 fractaline. Additionally, depending on your perks on your obelisks, the playlist activities will likely, or maybe not as likely, give you 100 fractaline for completing. So you're talking about Gambit, Gambit Prime, you're talking about Vanguard Strikeless, and of course you're talking about Crucible. All those playlist activities have a chance of dropping 100 fractaline, and upgrading the obelisk will give you a greater chance of getting those drops to happen. So the guarantee, of course, is doing those weekly bounties for the obelisk, and you can just go to the tower obelisk, interact with it, go to the page that is relevant. So it's at least the second page. Second and third page should have the obelisks and all the weapons and all of the weekly bounties, and you can pick it up straight from there. So you don't have to go to each obelisk. Go to Saint 14 on a daily basis and get those bounties that he has, and those will give you 50 apiece. So every day you can get 200 fractaline just from Saint 14. Playing Strikes and Gambit and Crucible have a chance of dropping fractaline, and upgrading those obelisks to rank 11 will give you the best chance of getting 100. But like I said, the guarantee are doing the weeklies and the dailies, and finishing that sundial objective, which is a weekly, get that up to 100% and you get 100. And then the triumphs, but those are only one time only. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.